paragraph. Till recently, it was thought that genes were self-actualizing, that genes could turn themselves on and off. Such behavior is required in order for genes to control biology. Though the power of genes is still emphasized in current biology courses and textbooks, a radically new understanding has emerged at the leading edge of cell science. It is now recognized that the environment, and more specifically our perception, our interpretation of the environment, what you were saying about context, directly controls the activity of our genes. Now that is a new idea, that something outside of the gene is controlling the activity of the gene. That's what when he was talking about the Petri dishes in that video. Environment controls gene activity through a process known as epigenetic control. Epi means what? Outside of. Right. What did you say? Above. Yeah. So it's not within the gene, it's around the gene that is controlling the gene. That's epigenetics, and everywhere you look right now, people are talking about this. This new perspective of human biology does not view the body as just a mechanical device, but rather incorporates the role of mind and the spirit. This breakthrough in biology is fundamental in all healing, for it recognizes that when we change our perception or beliefs, we send totally different messages to our cells and reprogram their expression. That 20 years ago, 30 years ago was unheard of. Mm-hmm. This new biology reveals why people can have spontaneous remissions. What's a spontaneous remission? Spontaneous remission, what is it?
Not like that you're cured, but like you're healed.
Suddenly. Spontaneously. Like somebody might have cancer, the next day wakes up, no cancer at all. Like they might be in stage 4 cancer, and then the next day. It's happening sometimes. Really fast. If you want to read an amazingly interesting book, if you're writing this down, Stephanie always writes down it's called The Holographic Universe by Michael Talbot. The Holographic Universe. That book will change everything for you about how we could spend 3 weeks on that book alone in here. Okay, so, or recover from injuries deemed to be permanent disabilities. The functional units of life are the individual cells that comprise our bodies. Though every cell is innately intelligent and can survive on its own when removed from the body, in the body, each cell forgoes its individuality and becomes a member of a multicellular community. The body really represents the cooperative effort of a community of perhaps 50 trillion single cells. By definition, a community is an organization of individuals committed to supporting a shared vision. Consequently, while every cell is a free living entity, the body's community accommodates the wishes and the intents of its central voice. That's the conscious mind. A character we perceive as the mind and spirit. When the mind perceives that the environment is safe and supportive, okay, tune into that. When the mind perceives that the environment is safe and supportive, the cells are preoccupied with the growth and maintenance of the body, and it would include healing. And so in other words, when you're not in the stress response, all of the cells turn on healing and growth and balancing energies. In stressful situations, cells forego their normal growth functions and adopt a defensive protection measure. The body's energy resources normally used to sustain growth are diverted to systems that provide protection during periods of stress. We've talked about this enough. Simply, growth processes are restricted or suspended in a stress system. While our system can accommodate periods of acute, brief stress, prolonged or chronic stress is debilitating for its energy demands, interfere with the required maintenance of the body, and as a consequence leads to dysfunction disease. So that's the whole chronic stress challenge. What he just described, the whole chronic stress challenge that we have. Now, it says I'm going to put the conscious mind back in here. Conscious mind. Okay, so this is the central voice. He's in the middle of the mix here. Your frontal lobe. The principal source of stress is the system's central voice, the mind. The mind is like the driver of a vehicle. We spent time with all the other ways of looking at this. He uses it like the driver of a vehicle. With good driving skills, a vehicle can be maintained and provide good performance throughout its life, but bad driving skills generate most of the wrecks that litter the roadside or are stacked in junkyards. If we employ good driving skills in managing our behaviors and dealing with our emotions, then we should anticipate a long, happy, and productive life. In other words, if this part of us is not always saying uh-oh to stuff that doesn't need to be said uh-oh to, then the body goes, okay, I'm in maintenance mode. I'm in heal mode. In contrast, inappropriate behaviors and dysfunctional emotional management, like a bad driver, stress the cellular vehicle, interfering with its performance and provoking a breakdown. Are you a good driver or a bad driver? In other words, are you saying uh-oh all the time, or are you not? Before you answer that question, realize there are two separate minds that create the body's controlling central voice. The self, conscious mind, is the thinking you. It is the creative mind that expresses free will. Its supporting partner is the subconscious mind, a supercomputer loaded with a database of programmed behaviors. Subprograms are derived from genetics. These are our instincts, and they represent nature. However, so that's what Kathy kind of maybe. However, the vast majority of the subconscious programs are acquired through our developmental learning experiences. They represent nurture, what we've learned over time. Now, this is so interesting, this next part that we're getting into.